Welcome to Home Education Matters, the weekly podcast supporting you on your home education journey. Hello and welcome to Home Education Matters. And today I am joined by my second wonderful child, who is Kerenza. And we are going to be talking about your home education journey a little bit, but also what your kind of a typical home ed day looks like for you. So to begin with, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and about your home education journey so far?
Sure. I mean, I've always been homeschooled, but I was also in a Montessori school when I was younger, around like 5 or 7. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
It was.
But my mother eventually pulled us out, me and my brother, because it was too much work, because we were doing homeschooling work and also school work, and it wasn't productive, I guess, or it was too productive.
Yeah, it's just too productive.
And I mean, I've never really gone to like a proper school.
So how old are you now, and what are you studying, and whereabouts are you on your journey?
14, almost 15 in February, which scares me, but anyway. I've done one GCSE in classical civilizations, which I got an 8 for.
You did.
Which would be an A. Yeah. I'm currently.
We were pretty chuffed with that one, weren't we?
I know. I was like expecting a 4 at the most.
Yeah, we were pleased with that one. What else are you studying at the moment?
Currently, I'm studying biology, maths, environmental management, and English language.
Mm-hmm.
And I have weekly tutors for maths and biology.
Because they're the ones you need in order to do your college course, right?
Yes.
And do you have any ideas what you're going to want to do for college?
I haven't really thought about it yet. I've kind of just done lessons. Yeah, I mean, I think college-wise, I would like to do like some sort of animal care course, if that's available in college. I don't know much about college, but some sort of animal care course, or like English language is quite fun sometimes.
Yeah, you like English, don't you?
Yeah, it's fun, but sometimes the school system and like the way of teaching it takes a lot of fun out of it, because you'd have to, like, you commonly revise on the English language. It's just there, you know?
In actual fact, we haven't done a lot of studying towards your English language exam that you're taking next summer, aren't you? We haven't really done a lot of studying. We sort of just kind of imbibed English language, and now we're moving on to past papers, aren't we?
Yeah.
Which you're doing very well at, so it's obviously working.
Yeah, I still need to finish my thing, my sort of story I was doing. I keep forgetting to do that.
Well, you're dyslexic, aren't you? So
Yeah.
as a result, you tend to like to do things in quite small chunks. Whereas I was talking to Xavier on a separate podcast, who's your brother, as you know, and he likes to do he likes to do all his lessons in one quite long chunk of like 2 hours, and you prefer sort of like short spurts. And I'm guessing that's because of your dyslexia,
like,
right?
20 minutes and then like maybe half an hour break, and then like 20 minutes again until I finish it, or a 30-minute chunk, and then like the next day another 30-minute chunk, or however long it takes to finish it. I don't think learning in big chunks really helps me at all.
What's interesting is that you and Xavi both have really different approaches to learning, and yet neither of them are compatible with the school system.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder who that is compatible with, because you like to learn in small chunks with quite big breaks between them, and you like to do a bit, then come back to it maybe the next day and then the next day. And Xavi likes to do everything in one big long gollop and then have lots of time off. So whereas in the school system, it's much more structured with a lesson, little break, lesson, little break, lesson, little break, like that. So talk us through, what do you think, just from your perspective of life, what do you think is the main difference between home education and school education?
Well, there's more freedom. You do generally have less of a social life. and I feel like you're more sheltered. But sometimes that's a good thing because I feel like in schools they're too young to be experiencing all this like harassment, bullying, and like stress, anxiety. They're like 13. It's not a good environment.
Mm.
Um, I think homeschooling is, I mean, I think homeschooling is a lot better because like it's homeschooling. There's a lot more free time, and I mean, I don't know about other home ed mothers, but you let me not like choose all of my subjects, but there's a lot more freedom in what I do.
Mm.
There's no like at 11:30, it's this every day, like especially because I don't like that sort of environment. I'm for a much more relaxed environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the school system is it definitely needs to be revisited, rechanged to fit people's needs if they want people to learn.
What would you change about the school system?
I would cater it to the child's needs. I guess, like with me, I guess it would just be like one-on-one tutor for all of the pupils, but it would be like a smaller school. And then there would be like a room for each child, or like the people with the same learning style, and
Mm.
same like sort of learning approach, like me and someone else who doesn't like long periods of learning, they would there would be like a break after like 20 minutes of like 30-minute break for like
Mm.
a hot chocolate or something. And
Not enough
then
hot chocolates in schools.
I know. Um and then like we would carry on learning. But for my brother, for him and his type of other people who like to learn the same as him would have like a 2 hour session or a 3 hour session, and then the rest of the day they could just like go home or something. I'm not sure how it would work, but we could definitely do something with it.
It would be nice, wouldn't it, to have a school that tailored to the individual needs of the children more. I'm not sure how they would do that because there's so many children, but I feel like they could at least start the conversation, couldn't they, which they're perhaps not doing
Definitely.
now. So talk us through your classic home ed day. And I know that obviously they're really different one to another, but
Yeah.
like if you could imagine, like if you were like talking to one of your friends here and they were like, yeah, but what does your day like look like? What would you say to
I
them?
guess I would wake up, I would go on my phone, and then I would get up and have breakfast.
What sort of time
And
do you wake up?
8:30ish or 9 or 7, it just varies a lot.
So whenever your
Um,
body wakes up, right?
and then at around 10 or like 10:30, I would get breakfast. And then at 11:30, I would do, I guess, like a past paper or a exam or like homework from my tutors or a tutoring, depending on which time they are. And then after that, I would probably go on my computer and like do a little bit of gaming, and then
Minecraft, yes.
yeah, and then we might go out somewhere, although not generally because we're not very outy people. But
We're innie
but
people.
yes, yes we are. Yeah, and then we would come back. I would probably play with Zavi in some sort of game, or there would be a board game, or I would just spend the rest of the day just like chilling, I guess, not doing much lessons. But then maybe later around 3, if you thought that I hadn't done enough work this week or I needed to do something before next day or something, I would do something short, so like homework or like watching a video on these topics and practicing the questions and stuff, or anything like that.
It's interesting you said that about playing with Zavi because I think that's one thing because you're 14, Zavi's 16, and yet you
Mhm.
two still play together most evenings, don't you?
Mhm.
Some sort of imaginative game where you role play different characters, things like that. And I
Yeah.
think that's something you've done since you were very young. And I think that's something that perhaps other families would sort of don't have if their children have gone to school because they've not spent quite so much time together. You and Zabby have spent so much time together over the last 10 years that you're each other's best friends really in some ways. So you're used to playing together for long periods of the day. And obviously as you've got older and into your teens, that time has shrunk a little bit. So because now you spend time chatting online with your friends, and Zabby spends time on his like very complex Warcraft game or whatever he does, but you two still come together most days, don't you, to play for a sort of half an hour or an hour. And I think that relationship is something that perhaps is unusual to home education just at this age when you're sort of in your teens.
Definitely, because if I think about most of my friends, their relationship with their brother is not good, or like their brother is really annoying, or just they just don't play. And I find that kind of sad because I have a great brother sometimes. Don't
get too gushing because he'll be listening to this.
We do play a lot, and we also know what each other, I guess, what our boundaries are in playing or what each other would like. I spend my whole life around him.
I think that imaginative play is something that is wonderful when you home educate, because you and Zabby had spent so many hours together, what could probably be called bored, because I didn't fill your day with lots of stuff, and we didn't go out to a huge amount of things, and so you were forced to kind of fill your days together. And I think, I mean, for anyone listening who thinks this, wonders how on earth I achieved this, or maybe I was just very lucky to have two siblings that got on together. That's not the case, because when they were sort of 6 and 7, they really didn't get on because they're very, very different people. And I think it took about a year of quite a lot of arguments that they worked out between the two of them for them to realize that they either got on or they didn't have anyone to play with during the day. And so they chose to get on, and now they have a very strong relationship. And like you said, Kerenza, you know each other's boundaries because that was something that you learned when you were younger. So thank you so much for talking us through your day. I've got one last question, which I'm asking to everybody, if I remember, which I'm trying to. If you could sum up your home education life in 3 words, what words would they be?
Does it have to be a sentence?
No, it can be 3 separate words, or it can be a 3-word sentence, whatever.
I guess 3 fun and engaging.
They're good. Wow, they're really good. If there was a home education brochure, I would put those on the front. Free, fun, and engaging. I like that. Yeah. Okay, I feel like I should get a little bit of a gold star as the home educating mother for that one.
You definitely should.
Send that to the local authority. You see.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Kerenza, for today. That's been really lovely. We have got a Home Education Matters Facebook group for anyone who would like to come on, and if anyone listening has a home educated child that you think would be amazing to be featured on our podcast, then do get in touch. And again, thank you so much, Kerenza. It was lovely chatting today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's Home Education Matters podcast. See you at the next one. Have a lovely day.